Hey, it's Joy. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I am going to share a coloring of the Heaven and Nature stamp set, which is a lantern with a candle. It's everything that you think of for the holidays and for Christmas. And this is a stamp that I have wanted for a very long time. So I am so glad to share it with you. So I will tell you that this is a pretty in-depth coloring. I did speed it up by 2 times, and some of the things that were repetitive, I did edit out just to save on time. So I'm going to start out by coloring the lantern. By the time that I got around to coloring it, my team had colored it gold, they had colored it black, they had colored it silver. So I decided to go with a copper, which I don't know that you see all the time. So I really wanted to do that, and then towards the end I decided that I wanted to add some patina. We will get into that. So it's been a really fun walkthrough. So I am going to start out by putting in my darkest area with an E37. If I were to do this again, I probably would have went with an E39. But really it doesn't matter, because once we bring the patina colors in, it's not going to make a difference. But an E37. So I focus this as if the highlight or the light source is coming from the middle. So the right and left sides are going to be the darkest, and then as you come to the center, it's going to be the lightest, and that's what's going to give it the round effect of a lantern. My next color is an E08, which is like kind of a sienna color, but it's more red orange, and this is super vibrant, and it almost looks out of place. And you're going to notice that when I color, I leave a lot of striations, like all different areas, and I make sure that it just it's kind of a messy blend. Okay, from there I bring in my E97. My E97 would be my first my second midtone. So it's the color that you would see the most of. So I really concentrate. I'm kind of closing in those gaps so that your eye sees the majority of E97. This is an earth tone color, so you saw that I've stayed in the earth tones, but we go from a dark brown to almost a red. Now we're going to an orange. And then I leave that real squiggly, like white highlight. From there, I bring in the E21, which is a very pale color, almost a Caucasian skin tone. And you're going to see that I have come back in with that E37. And that's because by the time I walked through my colors with the E21, I bleached out a lot of the scary darks or the shadows. So I worked back through my colors, starting with that E37, and I put in some of that E08. You're going to notice that I bring that E08 down the sides of the lantern slightly, but I leave all kinds of different color values, like some light, some dark, so that it looks like that candle is going to be lit and that it's like that it's flickering. Next, I concentrate on the holly leaves, which I started out with a YG67, and I stay towards the center of the leaf, following the veins of the holly leaf. And I also do that with the same colors with the leaves of the poinsettia. In hindsight, I wish that I had changed those colors up a little bit more, so there was some differentiation between the poinsettia and the holly leaf. My next color, I skipped the YG63, which would normally be the midtone, and I went straight to the YG61. And honestly, there wasn't much differentiation between the colors. So then I brought in a G94, which unfortunately I lost the footage of that. So I made sure to flash that up onto the screen, and you can see that there was a huge difference in the greens once I did that. So that's a way to fix your shadow problem. Next, I'm going to concentrate on the poinsettia. Now, at the bottom of this lantern, you've got the poinsettias and you've got the cardinal, so you've got a lot of reds. So you really have to pick different red tones in order to make everything pop and not look the same. For the poinsettia, I go with the darkest reds that we have, and that's the R80 family. So I outline the outside of the smaller portion of the poinsettia, the inside, with an R89. I also concentrate that towards the center and I flick that out. You know, you've seen those in the store where you've got the multicolored poinsettias. That's what I'm going for. And I use an R89. And once I get that all put in on all of the larger leaves, then I come in with the R85, which is the next color in the family. And I continue to feather that out. And I leave some white space, and I think I lost some of the footage on this, but then I feathered in an R83 using the exact same technique. And I make sure to do that on both the right and left poinsettia. Now the one that's got that second layer, I use a lighter color family. It's the same family, just lighter tones. So I come in with an R85. An R83, using the same technique, sticking the darkest color down where the vein of the flower is, and then I feather that out, and then I follow that with an R81. That way that flower really pops forward and you get some nice dimension. What is nice about this stamp set or this die set is that it cuts out the outline image. It also cuts out the poinsettia and the cardinal. So if you like dimension like I do, you can definitely pop some things up. Now a trick with some reds is if you use a yellow like a Y19 and then dot in your R59, your 29 and 24, that yellow kind of shines through and it gives you a totally different red value without having to add a bunch of other markers. So that's what you're seeing me do. I kind of do some crescent moons with the darkest colors, and then I dot in the R24 because that's my main highlight color. And that's for all of the berries. I did use my favorite red combination, which if anybody follows me for any amount of time, you would know that's R59, 29, 46, and 24. So for the cardinal, I'm using those same colors. So for the tips of the wing and where it overlaps like the belly, I put the shadow in with the R59. And I also do that at the tippy tip of the tail. I follow that with the R29. And I feather that in a lot like you would do hair, leaving a lot of striations and texture in there. So when I come in with my next color, which will be the R46, I try to go in between those lines so that I don't lose the color differentiation between the 5-9, the 4-6. Okay? And then my final color will be the R29. I do the exact same thing for the belly and the neck and even around the eye. Now I feathered in that red around the eye, but remember, you're going to have a bunch of, if you look at a cardinal, you've got a lot of black area around there, so we will address that here in just a second. So I wanted to let you know that everything that I'm using will be linked in the description box below. Starting this month, which was August, I can't believe it's almost over, we have gone to, if there is a coordinating die to a stamp set, you can either buy the stamp set by itself or you can buy it together with a stamp set and the die at one time. The dies will not be available for purchase separately, but by buying it as a bundle, you will save 15%. So that's a pretty nice savings. So that's already built in. That way, when you buy it, you know you've got everything you need and you don't have to worry about buying it later. And it's just to make the buying process easier for the customer and to pass on a discount to those people who love dies. So here's where I'm bringing in the C8 and the C6. I went around the eye of the cardinal, and I'm also going to bring in that C6 towards the tip of the wing so that we get more to mention, because if you look at a cardinal, they have a lot of gray intermixed, especially if it's male versus female. They have a totally different coloration, so I just wanted to bring that in. So one of the things that I love about cardinals is they say that whenever you see a cardinal, it means that an angel is near. And I know some of us struggle with that around the holidays, so I wanted to make sure that I brought that sentiment in for the holidays. It is something that means a lot to me because, I've got, I lost my mom at a young age, and then most of my family has passed away at this point. So whenever I see a cardinal, it just reminds me that, they're still here with me. For the, I don't know if it's a juniper or what it is, I'm coloring that with the BG78 and 72 family. And I'm just putting in a rough blend so that you get a lot of differentiation between the colors. For the candle that's melting, I used a W1 as my latest color and a W3. Technically, my W1 would be my mid-tone because I'm allowing the white of the paper to be my highlight color. And then this is where I decided that we're still missing something with this copper lantern, and that's when I brought in my BG75 and my 72, and I start putting striations of blue in there, and we nailed the patina with that. I then use that wide 00 for the glow of the candle, and then I'm using some sprays from Stamplistic. It's just a yellow gold that I sprayed onto an embossed panel. I then pop that up with some foam and put it on a white card base. Here I'm showing you the die cut outline of the stamp set, and this is where I decided I wanted some more dimension, so I had colored off camera another poinsettia, and I popped that up with foam tape. And here I'm showing you that dimension. That's my jam, if you guys haven't figured that out yet. And here's that sentiment that I love. A cardinal appears when an angel is near. So pretty. And using my trimmer, I just made it into a banner. And then at the very end, I add some new penny gemstones from here in the shop. And I apply that with my crafter's wand, which you can get here in the shop too. We have rose gold in the store. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next time, keep crafting. Bye-bye, friends.